Hello, hope you're having a great day. I am feeling alive this morning, but when I woke up, I was feeling really tired, but I've been continuing with my sort of new method in the morning. I still want to get up at 7:30, but I've now got an alarm that goes off at 7. So that kind of gives me an extra half hour to get myself out of bed, and then I give myself another half hour from 7:30 till 8 where I'm not actually really jumping straight into my routine. So it's meaning that I'm actually getting up and not staying in bed until 10-11 in the morning, which is good. And in a way, I've kind of got a whole hour to get up, but I'm actually only getting going with my routine and stuff half an hour late than what would be ideal in my mind, starting to do everything I need to do at 8 instead of 7:30. So the new method seems to be working, and although my lazy mind is there trying to keep me in bed, so far I've been able to overcome it for a good few days now. One thing I have sort of noticed the last couple of days, or sort of acknowledged the last couple of days, is how I'm always aching somewhere. Now, obviously, I've got some injuries at the moment on my chest and then, around the back and my foot. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about achy muscles from training, And, you see so much stuff on the internet that says, you shouldn't be training muscles if they're still achy. And look, I'm not a bodybuilder, right? I'm sure there's some merit to those opinions. If you're trying to get the maximum performance and, get as big as you can, as quick as you can, then I'm sure there is some merit in that. But for me, I feel like if I don't wake up a bit achy somewhere, then that means that I haven't been training hard enough. I like the feeling of having achy muscles, It sort of gives you a constant reminder. Every time you get up to walk around, you feel a bit of an ache somewhere, and it gives you a constant reminder that you are, a gym guy. You are focusing on your fitness. You are making yourself stronger day by day. And I really like it. In terms of my injuries, my chest and the resulting strain around the back that's been compensating for my chest, that feels a bit worse today than yesterday. But I did do back and shoulders in the gym last night, but my foot is getting much better. I've done my full walk around the block today, and I was pretty much almost walking as fast as I normally do, just with a slight little limp, trying to keep my foot on the inside of my foot to keep it off of my little toe. But yeah, it's healing really fast. I'm almost certain it wasn't broken now, to be honest. But do you know what? When you are eating healthy and you are keeping yourself fit, things do heal up quicker anyway. Now, obviously, before that walk, I did have a meditation session, which was okay. It seems lately my meditation sessions aren't as good as they have been in the past, but when you are meditating, you need to sort of not focus on that. You need to not sort of try and achieve anything when you're doing your meditation. You just need to sort of go through the motions, but at the same time, whilst you're doing it, really do focus on your breath as much as you can. But yeah, I just feel like I'm almost falling asleep a lot during my meditation, but I believe that meditation is still beneficial no matter how good or bad the sessions are. Obviously, before my meditation session, I wrote in my journal, and as usual, when I did finally get out of bed, I had loads and loads of water and some salt water and my vitamin C that I dissolve in water. So now that I am back from my walk, as usual, it's time for me to jump into my exercises. I am going to follow on from what I was doing in the gym yesterday, so I'm going to do a bit more back, I think. I'll do like a shoulder workout tomorrow morning, but I think I'm going to do some bent over rows, some deadlift, and then I think I'm going to do shrugs and these other things. I'm not sure if that's worthwhile. If any of you guys out there are more experienced with training and stuff, is it worth me doing shrugs and them things? Or are they doing basically the same thing? I've found in the past that these ones sort of feel like they strain here a bit more. So maybe they're better than shrugs, or maybe they activate the muscles in different ways. I don't know. Feel free to let me know in the comments. But yeah, I'm going to do those both this morning. So let's get on with it. All right, it is now 9:10 at night. I can't believe I haven't spoken to you guys since before I had my cold shower. But yeah, it has been one of those days. Everything's been going wrong. But do you know what? I'm still in a good place. And although, my mind has been coming in and trying to make things seem worse than they are, I have resisted, going down a negative path mentally at all. So let me talk you through my day without making it turn into, just me ranting. Now, after I had my cold shower and my breakfast, I dived into a little bit of work on MacBook. I had some sort of admin to do, I had some people to call, some people to email, and I made a start on editing what should have been the video on this channel that went out the day before this one, but that might get mixed up a bit, which I'll explain in a minute. But yeah, cracked on with a bit of work, and then I found myself sort of, watching YouTube videos and stuff, and I was getting a bit lazy, and I remember my mind sort of telling me that, it's okay, because we've been getting up and we've been staying up. It's okay to, be a bit lazy and not be as productive as I would like, which is wrong. Although I am, mainly focusing on getting up and staying up at the moment, that's because when I do that, everything else seems to fall into place and I managed to sort of stay productive all day. So yeah, I sort of had to acknowledge that my mind was trying to make me a bit lazy, and eventually I got out to the garage here at home. The weather was a bit poor at the beginning of the day, so it's kind of good that I took a while to get out and about, because then it meant I went around the garage when the weather was good, although it did start getting a bit worse whilst I was around there. But the first thing I did, which was supposed to form part of the video that I was filming around it today, was to have a go on my RC car. Now that I know which one the winner wants from the raffle, it meant that I knew which one was mine and I can take it out for a proper tear up. And yeah, I did plan to start working on my car, start filming and then sort of show me messing around with the RC car on the video. But I just ended up playing with the RC car for ages. Ended up starting working on my car a bit late. And do you know what? It's not a massive job that I was looking to do today, but it involved almost removing the rear axle and changing some parts. And the plan was to, crack on with that for an hour or two and then come back home, and me and my girlfriend Kat were going to go to the gym, relatively early today. We were planning to go at like 4 or 5 p.m. Anyway, this job on the car ended up being a nightmare. There was one bolt in particular that I couldn't get back into the car, and literally spent an hour and a half getting this one bolt in. So yeah, it was a nightmare. Obviously, it's getting darker earlier now as well. So once I did get that one bolt back in and started cracking on with the rest of it, it soon got to sort of 5:30 and, then 6. And, I'm thinking, I was supposed to go to the gym at 4 or 5 o'clock, and Kat's obviously at home here waiting for me basically, which stressed me out, more about the situation. Then it started raining, then we're getting sort of 5:30 and it's starting to get dark, and the car's in bits. It's jacked up in a way where I can't even close the garage doors and just leave it out there overnight. Couldn't just sort of give up and roll the car back into the garage, because I was at a point where the axle was basically hanging off. So yeah, it was just like a perfect storm. Like everything was going wrong. And then because one of the parts that I removed, basically, it's a long story, but I was unable to reuse that. So it was just like, everything was going against me. It was like I was stuck. It was getting dark. The car wasn't in a state to roll back in the garage. I wasn't able to leave it outside the garage because the doors wouldn't have been able to close. So it was a nightmare. And then I started sort of swearing and stuff. My mind's sort of making things worse. Rather than sort of taking a step back, focusing on what I'm doing, just accept that, I'm in this pickle, and the best thing to do is to concentrate on what I'm doing to get myself out of the pickle. My mind's just making it worse. Then, I'm feeling bad because obviously Kat's waiting for me, and we're supposed to be going to the gym. I actually ended up getting Kat to bring me round some lunch, and then I remembered that the part that I was sort of struggling to get back on the car, because there was another part that was stuck to it that I needed to get off basically. I actually had the same part for sale here that hadn't sold yet on eBay, so got Kat to come around again to bring me that part, and she's not enjoying coming around in the cold and the rain and the dark. She'd much rather be at home obviously. But yeah, then it turned out that that part wasn't quite the same, but I just about managed to use that to get the car barely back together so that I could roll it back into the garage. And I'm going to, go back around it tomorrow and see if I can actually finish the job properly. But, at this point, it's 7 p.m, I think it was, by the time I got back. And we're actually going to pick Kat's mum up from the airport tonight, which I sort of thought, that's later, that's sort of 10 p.m, 10:30 or whatever. But then when we sort of added it up, I've got to sort of have a wash because I'm dirty. Then we've got to go to the gym. Then we've got to come back. Then we've got to have dinner. Then we've got to go and pick Kat's dad up and then drive to the airport. It was just like, we didn't have time. And, I was just feeling really bad that I'd sort of made Kat miss out on her gym session because she only goes a couple of times a week. She could have gone earlier on her own, do you know what I mean? But she's been waiting around for me all day. So, it's just another reason for my mind to make things seem worse than they are. I'm feeling bad, that my girlfriend's got to put up with me and my cars. And, it's a nightmare. But, as I've said so many times on the channel before, she's very supportive and it's fine. It's just my mind making things worse. But, we was sort of planning to, still go to the gym, and then I was going to, get a Subway or something while she was, showering. We was going to shower at the gym and then go straight to the airport. But, we kind of decided not to bother, and Kat said that she'll go to the gym tomorrow on a Saturday, which she doesn't normally do. And, I'm sort of determined now, even though I've got a whole load of stuff to do tomorrow, to make sure that, I do make myself available so that we can go to the gym at a sensible time tomorrow. But, one thing that I wanted to do this evening, and actually I was trying to do it and Kat was, delaying us having dinner and stuff, was to edit the video that should have gone out on today, Friday. But my MacBook kept turning itself off. And I kept turning it back on and just trying to persevere with it. And, it just got to the point where it was just 8:30 or whatever. And I just said to Kat, right, that's it. And I've put posts up on my social media that some of you guys might have seen that, my MacBook let me down and I wasn't able to put a video out on Friday, which is today. So, it's just been one of them days where everything's just gone wrong. And as it turns out, Kat's mum's flight has been delayed. So we'll be going to the airport later than planned anyway. So we might have had time to go to the gym if I had have not had to try and edit the on-track video, which I failed to do anyway. So, it's just been one of them days. Everything's been going wrong. But you know what? I'm in such a good mental place that it just hasn't bothered me that much. You know what I mean? I've been able to accept it for what it is and just crack on, try, but crack on. My mind's even telling me things like, if I didn't play with my RC car earlier, then I wouldn't have got myself in this mess, which is kind of true. If I didn't sort of stall as much getting round to the garage earlier because I was watching YouTube videos, maybe I wouldn't be in such a mess. Maybe those statements are true, but it's not going to do me any good pondering over it and looking back and regretting, what has already happened, in the past. The past isn't real, only the now is real, so I'm going to acknowledge the fact that, yes, I didn't help myself by getting out late. I didn't help myself by spending an hour playing with my RC car before I started working on the car, but I'm certainly not going to go down the road of getting depressed about it because that happened in the past and the past isn't real. So even though it's been one of them days where everything's gone wrong and it's one of them days where there's loads going on in my mind that, could potentially, make me get upset about it. The facts that I've kind of let my girlfriend down today, all these things are playing on my mind, but because I'm in such a good place mentally, I'm able to see things for how they are, accept these things as just thoughts, accept these semi-regrets about how I've done things in the past as just thoughts, just the past, not real. And crack on my day. And it's days like this where I'm glad that I've sort of analysed my mind on the days where not a lot is going wrong. I'm glad that I am the kind of person that does, live every day like a bit of a weirdo, listening to my mind as if it's a separate entity than myself, because on these days where everything does go wrong, you're able to deal with it. And look, I know that those things that I've just described to you are nowhere near as bad as some of the issues that a lot of other people out there have. And I'm super grateful to have the life that I have, And just to add to everything that's happened today, my GoPro SD card just filled up. But what was I saying? I know that my problems might not be as major as other people's out there. And, I'm just super grateful that I'm living this awesome life, especially when you consider how I've lived a lot of my adulthood, you know, in the past, taking drugs, being a degenerate, not caring about my health and my fitness. So, yeah, although, you know, it is hard work every day, living the life that I'm living. And it has been hard work to sort of bring myself back from the darkness in my past. Yeah, I do wake up every day grateful for the life that I've got. Now, the plan tomorrow is to get myself round to the garage and sort of, you know, continue where I left off really with the car, and get it to a point where I might actually be able to put it back together properly and finish the jobs that I was doing today. But I also need to go out and find myself a new MacBook. I think, you know, just a old used MacBook Pro. I realise, you know, how cheap you can get ones that are way better than mine, because mine is so old. So I should be able to get something, you know, better than what I've got for quite cheap. And yeah, I need to really make an effort to actually be around so that me and Kat can go to the gym at a sensible hour, you know, after I basically let her down today. But yeah, pretty soon we're going to be leaving and going to the airport. I just wanted to fill you in with everything that's happened today, seeing as I haven't picked up the camera for this vlog apart from this morning. But yeah, massive thanks as always to everyone who's tuned in. Hope this video has been somewhat helpful or motivational. Apologies if this video has taken days and days to release, because at this point I don't actually know when I'm going to be able to get the video that I failed to get out today, let alone this one. But yeah, I'm going to keep making these videos, so I'll chat to you in the next one.